Hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Molten AMF here. I said I was going to make it, and here I am. Here is a tier list ranking the 2.0 version Rubicon Inferno missions. Most of Inferno's missions are definitely an improvement over the base game, and are harder. However, I don't think most are significantly better than the base game. I have also realised that, generally speaking, the parts of Rubicon's Inferno that I like, aka the increased enemy counts and density, are generally disliked by others, while the HP damage buffs are generally viewed more favourably by the community. As such, I imagine this list may be a little contrary to the general consensus, so do look forward to that. This list will be divided into 6 tiers. Goated, great improvement, a little better, basically the same, and worse, all to the tune of S to D tier, with an additional K tier. You'll see what that's for soon. I have ordered the missions within the tiers, but the positions, especially towards the middle, are flexible and could be higher or lower. And before I actually start my controversial opinions, I want you to like the video and subscribe to me. However, I am not asking. I actually have an army of Aftermath nuclear skeleton builds, and if you don't like and sub, I will demonstrate the Manhattan Project at your personal residence. Thank you! K tier, the worst of the worst. Rubicon's Inferno has an objectively worse mission, and it's not even close. It's Karmen Line. Karmen Line is so ass. It's honestly impressive how relatively few changes significantly worsen the quality of this mission so badly. But how about I explain it then? Karmen Line has 3 changes. First is that Rusty Ortus has been replaced by Rummy Ortus. By itself, Rummy Ortus is actually a really cool boss. He has a 10-cell split missile launcher, which throws an absolute volley of missiles at you, as well as a fucking semi-auto Zimmerman. Yeah, you heard me right, a semi-auto Zim. Rummy can stagger you at CQC fairly easily, and while his chainsaw use is inconsistent, so you lift the stagger often, he can occasionally get you with it. Rummy also seems to have a direct hit reduction, as charged bugs do relatively little compared to other enemies. He also got an earshot, but he rarely uses it. Rummy Ortus is actually a really creative solution to Carmon Line's gimmick. He forces an agile AC that can repeatedly dodge both the Zims and missiles. In isolation, it's a great fight. In isolation. The second change is that the warships have shields. It now takes notably longer to destroy each ship. It's really annoying because it isn't difficult per se, it's just tedious and time wasting. But that doesn't compare to the final change. That change being insta-kill death lasers. Yep, insta-kill death lasers. Carmon Line now forces you to dawdle around every ship to actually kill it, making it real easy for a 5k damage insta-stagger laser to hit you, and then another one of its brothers to finish the job. And after all of that, you have to face the serious challenge of an AC. In normal play, you can beat Rummy after a checkpoint, but if you try S ranking... Fuck this mission, this took me like 40 goddamn minutes to S rank. This is UAU Red Guns difficulty. S-ranking Carmon Line has a fairly strict time requirement and a not insignificant repair cost requirement. You need to dodge every laser before Rummy, and then you'll probably be fine, but you also need to kill Rummy fairly quickly. I mean speed run quickly. Again, I was here trying to dual 16s bunk this motherfucker, and it still took ages. This mission is ass. Burb, whatever you were smoking while making this, please don't ever use it again. My opinions for improvement? Just remove the shields and lasers. The Rummy fight alone would have been hype as hell. This is just bad. D tier. Worst tier. These missions are worse and or easier than their OG counterparts. Coral Release. I think I was fairly clear in my problems with Inferno All-Mind in my review video. My favourite boss turned from the hardest in the game to a piss-easy dog pile. Snail was easier than Iggy to kill first phase, the ally AC spawned so close to All Might you can easily use them to get All Might to last phase quickly, which trivializes the extra boss inclusions. And then last phase All Might. One of my favourite boss phases in gaming is degraded to a 6 AC dog pile where the challenge is all gone. Not a fan in the slightest. All hype moments and aura, dogshit game balance. My opinions for improvement? Make the ally ACs turn off for the EMP attack just like the bosses, and or notably reduce their health so they can just die a lot easier if you take too long beating the other bosses, and buff All Might's health and stability final phase. Escape. Is Escape harder than the OG version? Yes. Is it fun? Absolutely not. Escape issues come down to the 2 changes in the final arena. The insta-kill electric smoke and the boom LC. The smoke is just so cheap. You touch it for a second and you're dead. And annoyingly, the checkpoint is up quite a bit before the flare, so failure costs so much time. Just really annoying. Second, the boom LC. Dog, this is just boring AF. Normal health while you have damage DPS just results in you spending like a minute on like this one enemy. I can kill Bolteus normally in the time it takes me to kill this one LC. You aren't really in any threat either because there's so much terrain cover, it's just really unfun to play. My opinions for improvement. Drastically lower the E-smoke damage, you still have an effect, but it is an insta-kill. Lower the LC's health, so it doesn't take a year to kill. Branch. So you know how Branch is one of the hardest fights in the game because the 3 ACs have genuine synergy? And are also very hard to kill, making it easier for you to burn time, resulting in your fight easily becoming a 2v1 or a 3v1. Which also rewards game and build knowledge by notably lowering difficulty if you can kill them quickly. Even so, each AC has burst options that spell disaster at one wrong move. Yeah, well now King and Chartreuse are now midway melee merchants that are way less threatening. They also have like way less health and stability, so it's notably easy to kill them quickly. The lack of Chartreuse also sucks ass because she is undeniably the hardest AC fight in AC6, and now she's gone. I think I miss my wife, viewers. Keralis is also a major bozo, like way easier than Raven. So yeah, this mission's just way easier, even Burb agrees so. My opinions for improvement. 3 Chartreuses. I'm not joking, just 3 Chartreuses. Simultaneously very funny and also not a pushover either. Rusty Flatwell. To be honest, this mission is just barely worse. Just by the notion that there's a bug in how the game summons Flatwell, and that he now only appears when Rusty dies, so it's extremely easy to kill him. Flatwell in the OG is a bit of a fraud, but he can pose a genuine threat if not killed quickly. So even with the heart of Rusty, this mission is arguably easy in the OG. My opinions for improvement. Get Flatwell to spawn at first repair. If you can't get it to work at different repair kit healths, you could probably just alter Rusty's defensive performance numbers to create approximately the same health value. C tier. Basically the same. These missions have differences, but they're functionally basically the same as the OG. This tier is also vaguely categorized as slightly worse, identical, and slightly better. Depth 3. This mission features a few extra denizens in the room before the gen, and Institute now randomly shoots extra auroras throughout the fight. This mission is not really harder, but it's quite a bit more frustrating than the original, hence its place. My opinions for improvement: upgrade the Institute and maybe place an LC or HC in the inner arena, increasing difficulty but not being annoying. Depth 1. The changes here include a few extra denizens at the blockage, I think a few extra sniper denizens as you drop, and notably the Nepenthes now shoots Karasawa beams, which makes just falling and tanking the laser harder. And by that I mean just put on pulse armor. Yeah, I'm not joking, it's just that easy. I could give points if it forces a shield on your build, but this change is just extremely easy to overcome. Plus, looking back at the footage, it looks like similar to normal Karasawa beams, you can maneuver to dodge most of the damage, and if done correctly. So yeah, not big changes. My opinions for improvement. Yeah, this mission is hard to improve because it's kind of a nothing burger. It might not be possible, but if you could make it so that the Nepenthes couldn't be damaged until you kill the enemies at the bottom, it could be a good change. Also, maybe giving it a major health buff could help, because maybe you can't just insta-kill it immediately, or snipe its batteries from above. Strider. Strider has 3 changes: a time limit, extra enemies in the desert before, and the eye has a shield. The time limit is too loose. Take an extra 30 seconds off and then we might have a challenge, but like at least 15 seconds. It's ridiculously easy to achieve the time requirement with checkpoints anyway, so this really only affects the S-rank runs. The extra enemies are also meaningless because you'll always ignore them anyway, and the time limit directly incentivizes ignoring them as well. The eye shield is a neat idea, but doesn't really make it any harder, so yeah, if you already know how to take out the Strider, Inferno provides a little challenge here. My opinions for improvement. Shorten the time, the exact amount, give it some testing. As for the eye, I think adding some extra enemies would do some good here. This makes the fight less than just stand in front of the eye and unload onto it. Some new eye attacks specifically to address the exact same thing would be good as well. Coal transport. The only change to this mission is that there's now massive enemy density in the first 2 areas, which granted, on first attempts does absolutely catch you off guard, but after that it's really not that hard to avoid the enemies. Plus the final area is surprisingly lacking in extra enemies. This mission is fairly difficult to improve, so I'm not holding this over Burb too much. My opinions for improvement. Adding some more area enemies to the final arena, notably having some appear with the transports, would notably increase difficulty in the final area, and reduce the annoying downtime in the original. I'm going to bunch the next few missions together because they're all basically the same and don't honestly have much to add or improve for them. Xylem Hack, Historic Data, Survey Data, Tunnel Sabotage, Walter, and Iceworm. Xylem Hack, Tunnel, and the 2 Darters are basically impossible to notably change because of them being essentially fetch quest missions. Survey is a bit better at least because it added a HC to the final area, but it isn't much harder regardless. Iceworm has Weevils and Wheels in the arena, but like, There's a bunch of ally ACs, just stay in the air. If you already know how the ice worm spawn positions, the challenge is no worse than the OG, only becoming a problem if you take too long and the allies die. Walter is also a little sad. I think he has new attacks, but it's barely noticeable. Out of all these, I think the only reasonable improvement would be maybe adding extra Institute enemies to Walter's fight, plus a health buff to Walter. But apart from that, not much can be done here. Not much to blame on Burb either. Grid 086. Guys, I can't believe it. Rummy has gone to school and now has actual AI, and doesn't immediately die to you, which is great. And the final arena before the boss has like twice the enemy count, but I mean, it's just basic MT, so they're not really any harder. Yeah, this mission's basically the same anyway. Clean is completely unchanged as well. My opinions for improvement: buff Rummy's AC as well. And actually change the cleaner as well. Having the boss be exactly the same is a little disappointing. Swinburne. The change in this mission is really minor. All the MTs here now have high health, so you can't insta-kill them with a drive-by, like I did to that one family on the highway in the summer of '99. However, their stability is unchanged, you can still insta-stagger them worse than that one-time Violet High Tempo exercise of free will against me.
Extract the data from the birth survey drones.
Rockamonton has also been replaced, but this ain't about him. In practice, this mission is basically unchanged, the only exception being a new game, where killing this tetrapod for the combat log is now ridiculously difficult. It's not impossible, but extremely annoying. My opinions for improvement: remove the MTs around the tetrapod. This mission is mostly fine otherwise, but this mission, yeah, it's kind of hard to notably change as well. Air. I mean, what's there to say? Air's attacks deal more damage, but are a little slower, and she also has more health. And with the exception of a few attacks that create some lingering fire, the attacks are basically the same. There's not much to say. Just fight Air as usual and you'll win as usual. You do have a little less leeway compared to the OG, but it's not anything so crazy. My opinions for improvement: new attacks. That's it. If Air had a new attack, this could be so much higher, but without it, the fight's basically the exact same. Arguably a little easier with the slower projectile speeds. B tier. All the missions here are improvements, but I wouldn't say they're significantly so. Illegal entry. The only notable change here is the LC before the boss. Now, you can just checkpoint to skip it, but when going for the S rank, this LC is killer. Even upgraded low to 4 is still a pretty bad AC, and the LC is very mobile, and our own damage is very mediocre. So it's quite the challenge. To be honest, I wish the checkpoint was better, because doing the entire area after dying to the LC is very ass. The helicopter itself has more health than a Gatling gun, but it's basically the same. My opinions for improvement: probably have the LC appear with the helicopter, maybe with a little less HP. That way you don't get thrown back to the start of the area at death, and the helicopter is actually more of a challenge. Helicopter. This mission is lower in improvement because it kind of sucks in a few ways compared to its improvements. I do really like the extra enemies, and the AC in the ghost area. The problem is, it's still really easy to just kill the ghost and run away quickly. Still a cool change regardless. The helicopter fight is notably harder, but mostly because of the PCA laser snipers dealing insta-kill laser damage. They're a massive pain in my rear, and there's also specific positions where the helicopter's new Gatling guns can stun lock you with constant staggers. This mission had some serious potential with better balance, but as it currently stands, it's just really annoying, preventing me from placing any higher. My opinions for improvement: a change that would go a long way would be replacing one of the ghosts with the AC, requiring you to kill it before moving on to the helicopter. That change with also changing the PCA laser sniper damage back to normal should do well in both making this mission harder, but also fairer and more balanced. Alt Coral Convergence. I'll talk about the first area when I cover the normal variant, so I'll just talk about the alt exclusive parts. The only change to the Salt Pit itself is that Iguazu is replaced by another snail, similar to how it is in the All Mine fight. This change is honestly worse than the original. Snail and Iguazu in the original have excellent synergy with each other. Similar to Iggy and Volt fight, Snail was a high burst output AC with high AP. Difference being that Snail trades some AP for higher damage, comboing excellently with Iguazu's constant output. If the two start targeting you at once, it's a real problem, so you want the free-for-all to be a 1v1 as soon as possible. However, with another Snail replacing Iggy, you're now just facing two high burst ACs. Just keep distance, pay attention to stun needle alerts, and watch for the lance, you'll be fine. Resulting in the final area being easy in Inferno. Regardless, it still gets an improvement position because of the first area, which I'll talk about later. My opinions for improvement: I think adding in new ACs with similar but improved builds to Snare and Iguazu would have gone a long way to improve this mission. Snare with a burst impact option over a stun gun with better melee arms, and Iggy... I don't know, man. Iggy's build is actually not that bad. Maybe upgrade his missiles and give him Alulas or something? Combat logs. Honestly, not much to talk about. I like this mission changes the log positions. But for missions like this, there's not really much you can do. It's a good change. No recommendations. Brute. Brute's mission has been changed by removing Brute. Oh. Man, I really liked Brute. His replacement Jason is a nothing burger. Not really any harder or easier. But the mission also features a lot more fodder beforehand, and which TBH you can just run past, but holy, I think this mission deserves its position purely for my reaction to this in a room alone. What am I, in a fucking spy movie? Wait, wait, I think I'm doing it.
Jump down there.
Hey, nice. My opinions for improvement, I think some extra enemies in the Jason arena would have helped make the fight more engaging. It's already an easy fight as long as you Kai and dodge in the original, so adding some extra pressure will go a long way. Rusty. Simple change here. Rusty has a lot more health and full heal repair kits. He's basically impossible to consistently one-shot from full health now. Trust me, I tried. So that definitely makes it a good change. But regardless, Rusty is exactly the same, so it's not difficult to kill him. It just might take a little longer. That reason is mostly why he isn't higher. My opinions for improvement. An improved Rusty build would do well, like better arms and maybe change his weapons up a little bit, something like that. Rusty's weak melee means that most builds can survive a stagger if you aren't low health. And if Rusty was programmed to use the entire slicer combo into a soul armor, it would make him more deadly. Story should be down, let my man use an AA both in combat and in the cutscene. Test the pilot. Buffing the pilot does go with distance and making it harder. He's no pushover now. His stagger and damage also notably better, however his stability and AP is the same, so he's honestly still pretty easy to take out. Even did it first try in new game, no sweat. 1v1 AC fights will always be difficult to make harder without extra distractions added into the mix, so there's not much that can be done. My opinions for improvement. To be honest, I want the Tester Legion back. It's such a shame this is a review of the latest version, because low-key that fight looks fire. Gotta try it out when I'm not rushing to get a vid scripted, voice, and edited a week before I leave for the Oz Speedrun Marathon, Lamau. Xylem Defense. Xylem Defense has two notable changes. There is now an LC at about the 330 mark, and a helicopter at the final stretch. LC is kinda nothing burger, but the helicopter can actually give you a bit of trouble with the excess of other enemies. However, the helicopter can be mostly ignored while you take care of everything else. It only focuses on you and seems to ignore the tower unless you get too far away from it. So it's not a terrible threat. It's still a good change that does make the final stretch a bit harder, especially on a first attempt. The problem arises that the improvement is just really at the end, and the first 3.5 minutes of this still kinda just suck ass. My opinions for improvement, just add some extra enemies throughout the entire mission. There's more than enough leeway to do so. Sea Spider. Small changes again. There are now an LCs in the arena that you have to take out before fighting the spider. I know this isn't objectively a good change, but I hate it, because it stops me from quickly killing all the drones in one shot, so yeah, I'll whine like a bitch. The bigger change is that the spider now has new attacks. Coral shotguns and coral AA. I do like both changes, trying to make hugging the spider less effective, however the range of both is still a little too short, making the spider still fairly easy to fight regardless. Plus the AA hitbox is a little funky. My opinions for improvement, increased range on the shotguns and AA, meaning you need to pay better attention to Sea Spider's attacks before going in. Maybe give it a little bit of a speed boost as well, it's fairly slow. Wall Climber. This mission features some extra fodder around the targets, some tetrapods, and a weaker Juggernaut to fight for the combat logs. And the main Juggernaut has also received a significant stability buff, making it not impossible, but extremely difficult to stagger. I want to say ballpark of about 5,000 stability. The extra fodder are neat additions, but not terribly major changes. The Juggernaut's stability change is actually kind of genius by itself. The ease of staggering it and the high damage vulnerability it has makes the Jug fairly easy to burst down in 2, hell even 1 cycle if you know what you're doing. But this makes it impossible. The problem is, the Jug only has like 1 new attack and it's a forward-facing one. Inferno doesn't address how easy it is to dodge the Juggernaut just by kiting in the air. Get a bit of lasers and explosives that focus on staying in the air and the Jug will be as easy as usual. My opinions for improvement. On God, give my man an anti-air Jug out here struggling like Ganondorf in Super Smash Bros. This will give the fight better challenge. Dolmine. So imagine if Helicopter didn't have the parts that made it ass. Yeah, that's why Dolmine is higher. Dolmine himself appears unchanged, so there's not much to talk about there. So I continue with my recommendation from the Ghost area from the previous section. My opinions for improvement. Wouldn't it be really cool if Dolmine didn't kill the Helicopter immediately, and the fight became a free-for-all between you, Dolmine, and the Helicopter, Salt Pit style? Data breach. This mission is similar to logs at the major change that the location change. However, the changes here are both the fact that hiding spots are really good, but also that the enemy density is very high in these cramped areas, meaning that avoiding combat is very difficult. Just a really neat addition. My opinion is for improvement. Maybe add Cold Call into the final fight after the Ghost die. It could be a really cool way to introduce Iguazu and Cold Call's relationship earlier, and like Iggy says as he flies in, Cold Call might also be taking a job to earn a little extra scrap. Transport helicopters. More targets, extra ACs, and an entire new enemy type to fight. What more could I want? Some more difficulty? See, new transport is packed with more to do. The biggest problem is that the mission's still fairly easy. The two ACs are purposely bad to represent the Liberation Front, the Bunk RJ seems to have rumming AI and is fairly stupid, and the Blade wheelchair literally has nothing but the blade on the chair. So it's still fairly easy to not die to. He's a little bit of a damage sponge, but he's, again, not terribly difficult. The new enemy we dubbed the Kitty Fract is neat, but it's just a Weevil. Remove distractions and wait until it stops moving, then use missiles or kicks. Poor predictable Molten always starts kick spamming. Good old kick spamming, nothing beats that. So yeah, the mission is overall pretty easy, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily in a bad way. It's more fitting for the portrayal of the RLF on a large scale. No recommendations. HCLC. Not terribly much to say. The LCs have been upgraded to Spaceport LCs, and the HC is a newly implemented Gatling HC, which is a really cool variant. Sadly, this mission doesn't really address the fact that the HC can be easily killed, or at least heavily damaged from its starting position, trivializing the mission. Especially considering the Spaceport LCs aren't even that strong against any competitive build. Low-key, I didn't even realize there was an Ectomore here until Demomosh pointed it out. He low-key doing nothing. My opinion's for improvement. Just have the HC activate sooner and have the LCs, or the HC if you're stupid and going for it first, approach sooner. This should help in increasing the difficulty by encouraging killing as soon as possible. Destroy artillery. They sure did add more targets, huh? It's funny because this feels like the only place in Inferno where any notable terraforming is present. I feel like this could have been used in other missions to great effect. But looking at this mission, the extra targets are cool, but it's not terribly difficult. But adding an HC inside is a cool change, I like that. But all the targets outside can basically be taken at your own pace because all the enemies outside are short range, and any build with range can do this real easily. The ease is what's keeping it from a higher position. My opinion's for improvement. Maybe add like a helicopter or a Bolteus outside the building to encourage speed in the final area. And just making floating around a little less free. Not terribly much to say, it's a similar situation to transport helicopters. Freud. I do like how increased enemy density has been used throughout this mission. The first area can actually be pretty dangerous, and the final area and these enemies before the door are pretty cool. The problem is, the mission is kind of ruined by the AC fight. Freud is now replaced by someone even more fraudulent than him. Perseus, or however the fuck you say his name, is extremely tanky with full repairs, and he's also a way simpler AC compared to Freud. At least with him, you had both the melee and the melee to watch out for. Here, you just gotta watch the blade and you'll be fine. Granted, the high HP does increase the difficulty by default, but that plus his dumbass insurance makes the fight really kinda boring. My opinion's for improvement. I think I'd personally prefer Perseus with backup compared to Perseus with 6 billion AP. This fight is for the Xylem. You'd think Archons would take it a bit more seriously. Watch point. I do like the extra enemies in the first two areas. It gives some good challenge back to the mission. I feel like newbie Molten again, always going to the left to take out the laser without taking damage. But yeah, Plasma does do crazy work in this area regardless. The Gatling HC is also a really cool addition. It does put up some challenge. However, Royal and the newer Bolteus are disappointing. Royal is kinda easier than Sula, purely because I've never seen him use that earshot all as melee. Bolteus is not easier, but he's also not really any harder. The stability buff for him is good, but any competent build can 2-cycle Bolteus regardless, because his damage values are unchanged. Plus, Bolteus doesn't have any new attacks to deal with the ease of hugging him to avoid most damage, so the fight isn't really any harder. My opinion's for improvement. Give Royal functional AI, and give Bolteus some close-range moves. I think it'd go a long way. Oh damn, I'll talk about the first half when I talk about the base mission, so I'll just discuss the Iguazu Vault fight. So, they added Michigan to the fight, which is good. But he also stays behind while Iggy and Volt move forward, so he's really easy to kill before the other two. That's bad. Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool change, but just the fact he stays behind means it's entirely possible for any competent build to kill him quickly before the other two come back to help. Michigan is a competent enemy AC, but he really shines with the assistance of his squad. Alone on open terrain, he's not that hard to kill. Granted, if you can't kill Michigan before Volt and Iguazu arrive, then absolutely difficulty spikes. But otherwise, the mission isn't that difficult. My opinion's for improvement. Place Michigan all the way at the last generator location on the ice field. This will not only place him close to the others, but also in a position that makes more sense. Why is Michigan staying back anyway? While also not making it completely unreasonable for the player, forcing them into a 2v or 3v1 immediately. Chatty and Carla. A simple but good change for this mission. The final fight is now a 3v1 instead of a 2v1. The extra AC is actually a really good addition. As Yarngay, Delivery Boy, extra missiles give him presence at all times. Terminal armor makes him hard to kill, and the chainsaw can heap on some extra damage. The problem is that this extra guy, I forgot his name, John RAD, is really slow, meaning it's fairly easy to ignore him, and he also never charges his chainsaw, meaning he doesn't really deal any damage with it. John RAD would be a much bigger threat if he could charge a chainsaw. Imagine getting command grabbed and then having to tank a million missiles. It would make him notably more threatening. John RAD is also not required to kill to finish the mission. No other changes apart from him. My opinions for improvement: let John RAD charge his chainsaw and make killing him a requirement for ending the mission, making him harder to ignore. Cataphract. Another simple but good change. The Cataphract cannot be staggered. This change seems rather controversial among the community, with people either loving it or hating it. Personally, I like it. Generally speaking, I like when a mission forces me to change my build. That's what the customization is for after all. But to be honest, the builds you use aren't terribly different, just focusing more on burst damage than burst in general. Also, don't give me that melee sucks against the Cataphract skill issue, peek me bunking the Cataphract repeatedly. My opinions for improvement: I don't know, the Cataphract's mostly fine, some new attacks would be cool. Dry block. I'm honestly not sure where to place dry block. Like, it's definitely better, but I don't know, it still feels kind of too high. This mission for the most part is the same, with extra fodder being nothing crazy. Archivist Voltaeus, or as I call him, WhatsApp Taeus, is the big thing here, and honestly, he's kind of... Like, WhatsApp Taeus is definitely harder. He hits harder, has the same stability off as Voltaeus, but he only has, like, a single new attack that works. The other new attack misses most of the time. And the same low kinetic defense, meaning he's still pretty easy to kill him exactly the same as normal Snail Taeus. Like, for real, I killed him with Nightfall no repair first attempt. It's not really that much harder, just that it punishes already unsuitable builds harder. Like, Umbrox sucks for the fight now. It can't just cheese Snail Taeus like it used to. My opinions for improvement: buff WhatsApp Taeus' kinetic defense and add different attacks. Make it harder to dodge and harder to cheese. Spaceport. I mean, the Supreme HC is cool, I guess. I don't know, man. There's not really much to talk about this mission here. It definitely catches you off guard the first time, but honestly, it's still just a pretty easy fight considering the attacks are literally the exact same. Like, the shielding and repair do serve to make it harder by reducing cheese options. I don't know, man, I don't got much to say. I hit the flow state at one point, managed to go hitless against this thing for like a whole minute while on Zembunk, because I just kind of muscle memory the attack patterns. It's definitely harder, but nothing crazy. Oh, but how could I forget? Those fucking lasers I hate! My opinions for improvement: remove the insta-kill lasers and maybe give the LC here some love. It feels weird that HC got all the new toys while the LC is left with nothing. Attack the Dam. I really like the changes with Dam. Having tetrapods and denizens in the mandatory enemy area gives a bit of extra challenge, and notably, Index is now driving a Juggernaut instead of his AC. Is that a fucking Juggernaut?! Which low-key kind of makes more sense in lore. This mission is a real joy to play. The problem is that it's still fairly easy. The Jug is still just as easy to kill with the novelty of his appearance wearing off, and it isn't even mandatory. It's still really easy to PFAL skip the mission because when the shield drone doesn't activate until you're like 500 meters away. So yeah, while I give it fun points, it's definitely not that hard. My opinions for improvement: TBH, not much to say. It would be cool if this mission required the Index kill, so you had to kill him, but yeah. I think it's fair to explain now that I think I would rank a easier mission higher because it's more fun, compared to a harder mission that I think is less fun. This is just a normal tier list of my taste, not specifically a difficulty tier list. Vespers. Having Snail present and a bunch of extra fodder is really cool. However, the fodder dies very easy to assault armor, and like, Snail only has like a single repair kit, so he's also fairly easy to kill here. Hawkins and Paid Out unchanged. Unfortunately, I think you needing to wait for the door to open before attacking sours the experience a bit here. I hate having to arbitrarily wait, so this knocks the mission down for me. Were there no other door workarounds? Open the door as soon as the mission begins, force the door open on getting spotted, remove the door entirely? Alas, I don't know how the game is coded, so I might be yapping to the void. My opinions for improvement: no joke, just have every enemy flood through the door when it opens. This would be extremely easy to cheese with dual earshots, but it would be extremely funny, absolutely. Coral Convergence. Okay, let's get the disappointing out of the way. The Ibis is almost identical, just very slightly leaning harder. The shield with 1 stability means that the best parts go from the best stagger to the best shield break. And with the same AP, any build with good punish will just put it working regardless. Slightly harder, but only slightly. Now for the good part. I love the first area. Many more enemies, 3 ACs, and the Sea Spider is a massive concoction of stuff all happening at once. The new ACs are mostly fine. I wish they weren't so lightweight and easy to kill, but whatever. I also really like the generic AC. I really wish we saw more of these throughout the game. The entire reason why Coral isn't in worst tier. My opinions for improvement. Give the Ibis functional stability. This would really lean the fight into learning the Ibis' attack patterns instead of just bursting it down with heavy cannons at the first opening. Strider S-Core. This mission could have been S tier if the Ice Worm actually functioned. But alas, as it stands, the only change here is that 2 wheels are replaced by a Sea Spider, which is definitely a good change, but yeah, the Sea Spider isn't hard to kill, isn't really a priority either. Plus, dual earshots can solve the mission anyway. If the Ice Worm functioned and you had to bring at least a single Sun Needle, that would be amazing. It would greatly increase difficulty with the rest of the mission before even the Ice Worm itself. I would love to see it. My opinions for improvement. Get that wormy working. A tier. We are finally at the missions I think are notable upgrades compared to their original variants. Alt Watch Point. Despite my criticisms of the Goon Squad in my review vid, yeah, there's no denying the fight is pretty cool and absolutely an upgrade over the original version. Fuck them ghosts, all my homies hate ghosts. A 5v1 AC fight is a really cool inclusion. But holy do I have some criticism. Big one. Oh my god, these AC suck ass. Royal is no threat because he doesn't use his earshot. This one with the bunk can be easily overwhelmed at CQC because his act missiles miss. The Dagger RJ has the dumbest AI in the entire game. Watch me literally stagger extended with the Zims, and his dumbass still comes straight at me with the uncharged dagger, straight into the embrace of Saint Ashmead. Kaiser and that one Tetrapod have decent builds. However, they tend to stay back for a while, resulting in the 5v1 being a 3v1 most of the time. Especially because you'll tend to have someone dead before Kaiser approaches. This is all without mentioning that the cover of this map is absolutely insane. It is entirely possible to have them 50 meters in front of you and completely unable to hit you. All of this works to severely lower the difficulty of what could be in one of the hardest fights possible to implement in this game. Really only being a challenge in S-rank attempts where you can't checkpoint beforehand. This mission had immense potential, but many issues are holding it back. My opinions for improvements. We need to improve the AC builds and AI. First, the Dagger RJ. This build is mostly fine. Have them shoot soups as it approaches, and then when it gets in CQC, fire the Zyarge and go for charged daggers when in range. This will severely improve his threat. If he hits you with a charged dagger, you might be taking a Zyarge to the face, like resulting in a stagger, to which the dagger combos into AA. Does it have AA? I don't give a shit, give it AA. I want this AC to be able to sweep anything it touches. Next, Bunk Guy. Either commit to the Bunk or the Kite. If we remove the Bunk and give it another rifle, give it some floating AI, it will become a serious threat. This AC is spamming high stagger options from a distance. An ACT missile could stagger you at any moment, so you either use the cover or kill him quickly. I was considering a Bunk build, but then I realized we kind of got 3 CQC merchants anyway, so having this guy at range is probably a better idea. I already covered Royal before, so make those changes. As for Kaiser and the Tetrapod, just make sure they engage at the same time. Like, both are relatively slow and have mediocre range options, but have some really strong CQC. Just be aware of their presence and keep them at distance. All this plus the terrain can create a genuinely amazing AC fight. Generally speaking, this mod has poor enemy AC synergy, so this is absolutely something I want focused on in the Aftermath mod. O'Keefe. O'Keefe is dead and these mercs killed him. O'Keefe's fight has been turned from one of the middest sky battles into a 3v1 brawl, and personally, I am a fan. The 3 ACs, however, are pretty air synergy wise. Hammer has dual artichets and a blade, and he also has some pretty bad AI, so he stays grounded the whole time, making him really easy to ignore. I've also never seen him use his blade. Lilith is interesting. Dual javelin baitas and a Zimmerman and a laser blade, probably one of the highest priorities here, able to output some seriously high damage. However, the build is also very easy to wrap. Last is Eve. She's running a missile lamb with a shield and hammer. She's basically a non-threat, so you can leave her for last. So yeah, a bit of poor synergy, all 3 are not the greatest against Ratty either, so that's a major counter, but honestly I think it's fine. Good mission overall, no recommendations. Coyotes. What if we put Toho into an AC game with Minecraft Steve? Yes, this mission is just funny. A shit ton of enemies, massive missiles that can instantly kill you. Fucking Minecraft Steve trying to punch you, it's all just really funny. I should be frustrated when I get hit by a massive missile payload and die, yet I'm kind of just laughing my ass off. It's also no pushover either, the enemy qualities are no joke. Overall, I just really like it, no notes. Grid 135. This mission is filled to the brim with enemies. So many MTs, Tetrapods, Denizers, small craft, and at the very end, an AC. Even with 4 plasma trying to get everything, it's a challenge. I especially like the 2 Tetrapods back here. It's hard to kill both of them easily, and the AC also has some of the best synergy with the rest of the mission. The slightly heavy CQC build means as long as you pay attention to its position, you can deal with the other enemies and leave it for last. but it can definitely put the hurt on you if you aren't paying attention. Another no notes, great mission. Dev 2. I'm including both variants here because they're basically the same. Dev 2 is weird. On the one hand, I don't really care for the Coral Enforcer. It's hard, but not terribly so, and like many other cases, it really only punishes bad play instead of challenging good play. So the Enforcer's like a low B, but you know what makes this mission really good? There is a completely optional 5v1 AC fight with the Balaam Force, and honestly, it's so peak! This room is such a great AC arena. There's just enough cover for smart play and hidden runs. AC is unique, but not so crazy overwhelming at close quarters. You could just run past them or lure them out one by one, but that's how losers think! 5v1 brawl these motherfuckers, you wouldn't know balls! The satisfaction when I managed to S-rank the mission after killing these guys was indescribable. My opinions for improvements. Coral Enforcer Coral attacks are more style over substance. It needs more anti-air options to counter kite builds. Any good kite runs circles around the slower coral projectiles. MIA. HCs are really scary in close quarters. Yeah, honestly, this mission's actually great. We're at the point where all the missions in the tiers are like really good. Having to fight 2 HCs and plenty of fodder enemies with no repairs is not easy, especially if you go for the red kill, where you have to face 2 Ectromoy. Honestly wish we could have faced Ectromoy more often, not gonna lie. And then after that, you face Pater piloting a WhatsApp Tatus. The arena makes it a little easier compared to Snail normally, but it's still cool. No real criticisms, but to be honest, I think I would prefer normal Snail Tatus with maybe the stability buff. I mean, I can already verse WhatsApp Tatus in another mission, so it's kind of a waste to have 2, you know? Missile Defense. This is not my favorite mission in the mod. However, it is undeniably the most improved from the original. OG Missile is so boring. Once you memorize spawn positions, you can literally never lose a side missile, much less the main one. Here though, golly, the pressure here is palpable. Sniper tetrapods can seriously chunk the missiles, giving a single moment to exist. LCs occupy your time for much longer than toy boxes, and best of all, my god, these cleaners are insane to drop in. I love seeing them. They have lower health than their normal variant, so they aren't as crazy, but they're certainly a massive threat. They can take out a missile by themselves if you aren't fast. Again, no notes, I really love this mission, it's way less boring. Arsenal Obstruction. Arsenal is simple in its changes. There's a helicopter in both the last 2 arenas, and Kate is replaced by Rummy, who dies very quickly. These changes add difficulty, but are mostly fine. No, Kate does definitely make the last area harder by making one-shotting an Ectromoy harder, but the mission really shows its difficulty in S ranking. Sure, the final fight is hard, but with full repair kits, any half-decent builder, you'll be fine. But after taking out a lot of enemies, including a whole other helicopter, the opportunities for damage rack up, making the final fight more challenging. It's good stuff. Enforcement Squad. You know, I could talk about the harder AC fight, the stronger fodder, and the double HC fight at the end. But really there's no higher praise that I can give this mission than the fact that this mission reminded me why I love AC6. That feeling of running the fastest possible build with the worst defenses in combination with the strongest weapons. I one-shot everything, but everything one-shots me. I just love it. And when I get to 2v1 the HCs at the end with only 6 KAP, with nothing but my skill and game knowledge, this was one of the greatest feelings ever. I was also confronted by the fact this was very much a fluke when I went for the S ranks. But yeah, I think there are better missions in this mod. But I can't really give any greater praise than this made me realize why I love this game. I'm so fucking good at this game! Oh! Ectromoy. Excluding the BS that is Karmen Line, Ectromoy is the hardest mission in Inferno to S rank. Enemy density is up as expected, but the biggest threats before the brothers is this LC. Upgraded to a harder variant, ignorable in most attempts, but necessary for the S rank. This guy puts up quite the fight. You can't spend too much time on ammo, else you'll lose rank. But the real challenge are the Inferno Ectromoy. These guys are tough. Both the hardest and best bosses in the mod. The Lance one is basically unchanged, but the Plasma one now shoots heavy explosives. Dodging is no longer a suggestion, it's now a requirement. The Stagger will be swift. Additionally, both have majorly increased health and stability. This combo results in the two being way harder to fight together, especially to fight together quickly. Both Ectromoy can hamper your mobility, so keeping distance and kiting is the best bet. These two punish aggression harshly. One problem with that, you'll never meet the time requirement. You see, Burb confirmed it themselves. They did not alter any S-rank requirements. Ectromoy is already infamous for its harsh S-rank requirement, but now you need to do that with Ectromoy with like twice the health and stability, with their energy defense buffed up. Needless to say, this is extremely difficult. It took me 2 hours of attempts and experimentation, but I finally managed to achieve an S rank. I'm so proud of this shit. I'm just gonna let it play. And then we can go to town on the other guy.
PCA SP Special Forces. We can't afford to take chances.
He does not. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Thank you, Alulas. That could so easily been, like, so much less damage, but I just fucking choked so hard there.
I'm sure our paymasters planned for that.
Come on, free repair kits, free fucking Actually, you know what? If this isn't S rank, I'm done. I'm done. There's no fucking way I could do that better. If this isn't S rank. If this isn't a fucking S rank, I'm done. Yeah! Suck my fucking nuts! It's shit, burp! Your mod is mid! Your mod is mid! Mid mod! Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Ah, feels so good. Ah. Even if it might be by accident, even if it was probably an accident, holy fuck, that was the whole S rank thing. Good. But yeah, this is extremely difficult. But honestly, I loved it so much. That feeling of euphoria overcoming me could not be undersold. S rank, the goated missions. I love these to pieces. Prisoner rescue. I'ma keep it real. I might be overglazing this mission. Maybe with more attempts my joy will fade. You'll see other missions in this place. But personally, this mission is perhaps the perfect example of how to make fodder friending in this game. Enemy count so high I can't ignore them, and I have to spend time getting every single one. Jamming bombs prevent long-range targeting, genuine risks of death with everything thrown at you. A mission that forces you to make a build. No chance of some suboptimal shit getting through, full plasma lightweight or bust. God, do I love it. No notes. Now here I am, standing at the final two missions. Two difficult missions that excel in different areas. I'm looking at both, yet I don't know which mission I think is truly better or prefer. Yet I gotta make a decision. Ask me another day, my answer might change. But here we go. Raven. Even though it missed the top spot, I think this mission may be Burb's magnum opus, and the true epitome of Rubicon's Inferno. Raven's mission has been completely overhauled. It is now teeming with enemy units. Raven's biggest problem in the main game is that he's really easy to bozo, and once you get some tuning on your belt, he's no issue. However, here, he has like 20k AP with like 3 full repair kits. Considering if you use them at like half, you'll be looking at bare minimum 50k of AP to chunk down. An exercise in burst AC building. That's also not mentioning the extra enemies. Do you take out the other enemies first so they don't interfere with the Nightfall fight, or do you dart straight towards it? Do you try to eliminate every single enemy? So many ways to play this mission, and I love it. This mission only has one problem, the problem of ending from being the best. It is unfortunately, objectively best to aim for Nightfall first and ignore the rest of the mission. It's sad, but you can just kill the helicopter before he spawns, and then excluding the occasional annoying stagger from some random PCALC, you'll burst down Nightfall in time and win the mission. I think it's way more fun to kill all the big enemies, but when the S rank's on the line, I'll go for the jugular. This alone stops from being the top spot. It's still an amazing mission regardless. If you remember the missions off by heart, you may know what takes first place, so let's reveal it. Red Guns. I think Inferno Red Guns might be the greatest mission an Armor Core mission can create without a boss. Now granted, I haven't played most of the old gen, but even if something overtakes it, this will forever remain high. The changes here are surprisingly simple considering what second and third place is. This mission simply adds 3 extra ACs over the course of the mission, and changes the tetrapods to kitty frags. But these changes go so far in increasing the mission's difficulty. The game gives you a time limit to kill the ACs. Don't kill it in time, tough shit, here's another AC. Didn't take that one out, whoops, now it's a 4v1 with a crap ton of fodder support. It's one of the best tester skill possible in this game, and it's all done with relatively little changes, and I think there's a beauty in that as well. Burb made the best mission in this mod in a cave with a bunch of scraps. beating this mission with an ultra lightweight is also such a satisfying thing to accomplish. So yeah, that marks every mission beat in the game as an ultra lightweight. Considering Midway is objectively the best weight range for mobility against health, I will hear zero complaints about me cheesing with the best builds. I was sandbagging the entire time. Thank you, Inferno Red Guns, I love you, you are the best mission. So yeah, with that, the tier list is done. My last video of Inferno was definitely more negative, and while I absolutely stand behind everything I said, I think it definitely needed to make it clear. I enjoyed Rubicon's Inferno very much. Should be clear when I've ranked most of the missions as better and only a few missions are actually worse. Inferno in many ways reminded me of why I love Armor Core 6. And while I probably won't cover it anymore for a while, I definitely won't forget about it, and I may even do more of it in the future. Inferno was great, I can't wait for Aftermath Burb. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. It's great to see that everybody likes hearing me yap, and considering my tier list do pretty decently, I should probably do this more often. So yeah, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, it really helps up a ton, and we are so close to 3k subs. If you want to see me play live, give me a follow at my Twitch. And if you think my ranking is ass, I got a Discord, so you can yell at me there. And if you want to go that step further, I got a Patreon. Members get shout out in videos, ad-free viewing and downloads of my videos, as well as full game playthroughs of your builds depending on support tier. And hey, if the Patreon's too much for you, I also got the cheaper YouTube memberships, which will get you a shout out in vids as well. And now to thank my Patreons. Massive thanks to Casey Too Late, Type074, DMV, and SGRB Summit and Rusty Tier. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I shall see y'all in the next one. Bye!